Rams offensive players are being introduced. Number 75, Irv Pankey, the left tackle coming out. This is an offensive line led by number 72, Kent Hill. He'll be headed to the Pro Bowl. And there is an outstanding center due to come out next, number 56, Doug Smith. And Jim Burt will have his hands full with him. He has to contain Smith to keep that offensive line under control. Here comes a fellow who's been a mainstay for years, Dennis Hara. Next to him, of course, big Bill Bain, number 62. He'll go at 300 pounds this afternoon. And the tight end, he'll be up next for them. Number 81, there's David Hill. Now one of the wide receivers, number 80, Henry Ellard. He, too, will go to the Pro Bowl. He'll be the punt returner for the NFC. And now Eric Dickerson will be coming out after James McDonald and Jeff Kemp. Just about game time for Jimmy and Dick for a meal. We'll see you later, everybody.
How different are New York and Los Angeles? Let us count the ways. New York at this time of year is a picture book. From Lincoln Center, where the Nutcrackers dance, to the Radio City Christmas Spectacular, to the snowflakes falling above Fifth Avenue. The city seems to transform itself into a holiday wonderland. And for New York's long-suffering pro football fans, there's a rare present under the tree this year. It's a playoff game. The Giants are alive in postseason for only the second time in 21 seasons. They've arrived on the strength of Phil Simms' passing. An outstanding defense keyed by Lawrence Taylor. In Los Angeles, meanwhile, there's less change in the city's appearance this time of year. Southern California's natural beauty less affected by the passing season. It's business as usual on the football field, too, where the Rams have made the playoffs for the 12th time in those last 21 seasons and made it on the wing feet of number 29, Eric Dickerson. Coming up, New York and Los Angeles in the California sunshine. We're live at Anaheim Stadium in Anaheim, California. The level of intensity goes up. The atmosphere changes because this is the playoffs. From here on in, it's sudden death. The wild card game between the Giants and the Rams. Good afternoon. I'm Pat Summerall along with my regular colleague, John Madden. John Robinson, the Ram coach, was talking with us yesterday. We asked him how he was going to approach the game, and he said, we will continue to do what we think we do best. How does he approach this game, John?
Well, of course, what he does best is run Eric Dickerson right and left, 46 gap, 47 gap, plays like that. Now, what he says that he has to do, he said, if they only have 7 up, that means there are 3 linemen and 4 linebackers, they'll run Dickerson all day. Now, he said if they get the safety up, if they put 8 guys up, he said we're going to have to pass. Now, we talked to Bill Parcells. They do have a plan where they're going to put their strong safety, Bill Courier, up on the line of scrimmage. They're also going to use a 4-man line against them and slant everything towards number 81, David Hill. Because as Bill Parcells said, he said, we know Eric Dickerson's always going to carry the ball. The other thing we know is he always carries it towards David Hill.
When the Giants and the Rams played in the regular season game, the Giants were held to only 8 yards rushing. They obviously were beaten soundly in that game. Now, how does Bill Parcells, how do the Giants plan to execute today, attack the Rams?
Well, of course, he said one thing, that we want to get a little more running. He said we were just terrible that day. One thing, he's going to play Tony Galbraith more. Now, he's been the receiver coming out of the backfield, but today he's going to be more of a true running back. That's one thing he wants to do. He says we just have to be able to run a little. The other thing is not have Phil Simms hold the ball so long. He said the last time he was trying to throw deep too much, so the medium range passes. He said today, he said especially to start, we want to throw those short little things where he can come back, set up, boom, get rid of the ball right now. So I think we're going to see that type of the game, at least early in the game.
It is a beautiful day in Southern California. Temperature 67 degrees, humidity 45%, wind southeast at 5 miles an hour. It's supposed to stay beautiful. Couldn't ask for better than that. Bright sunshine. The Giants will kick off. That's Ali Haji Sheikh, who's ready to do it. Drew Hill and Barry Redden are back deep for the Rams. It'll be Redden at the Ram 50, 30. The lineups in this playoff game, wild card game. The Rams offensive backs and receivers, Jeff Kemp, the quarterback, Eric Dickerson, the running back. The U-back is James McDonald. There's a penalty on the play, by the way. Drew Hill and Henry Ellard are wide. Up front at tight end is David Hill, Irv Pankey, Kent Hill, Doug Smith, Dennis Hara, and Bill Bain, the offensive linemen, and they're all huge.
That penalty is going to be against the Rams, Pat. It'll be one of those holding penalties or blocking from behind above the waist. That'll put the Rams 10 yards deeper in the hole.
After I get through, the next voice you hear is from Ben Wright.
51.
51 is Robbie Jones. There is John Robinson, the head coach of the Los Angeles Rams, and what a class guy he is.
Well, you know, the one thing, he's a little happy on that play because it's a better start than they had the last time they played the Giants. They let the ball sit in the end zone, and the Giants recovered for a touchdown.
The Rams go with two wide receivers split to the left. Drew Hill is one of them. McDonald went in motion, and there goes Eric Dickerson. Swarmed on by Carl Banks on the first play, a loss of about 4. On defense, the Giants will operate with a 3-man front. Curtis McGriff, Jim Byrd in the middle is the nose tackle, and the other defensive end is Leonard Marshall. Banks starting at linebacker along with Reasons, Carson, and Taylor. In the secondary, Mark Haynes, of course, is out. Kenny Daniel takes his place. Perry Williams at the other corner. Bill Courier and Terry Kennard, the safety. They go with a standard defense. In motion is McDonald. Back to throw is Kemp. Incomplete. Intended for Drew Hill. Perry Williams and Terry Kennard over to defend.
It was interesting, Pat, the way the Rams started. The Giants were 7 up. They didn't have a secondary man up. They did run towards David Hill on the first play. Now, with Jeff Kemp being the young quarterback that he is, the Rams don't like to force in this situation. So even though they're 3rd and long, this could very well be a running down to Eric Dickerson.
They don't like him to throw when it seems he would have to throw. Drew Hill is wide to the right. Henry Ellard wide to the left, and they do run with Dickerson. And they get about 3 yards, they'll have to punt. Lawrence Taylor and Jim Byrd on the stop of Dickerson. That's something we'll be watching, something that John Madden pointed out to you. The Giants had gone through 6 game films, and every time the Rams run that sweep that they ran on first down, except once, they ran it at number 81, or in the direction of where Kent Hill was lined up. David Hill, I should say. Good punt this time by Misko. MANUEL is chased all the way back to the 30-yard line as Misko is happy about a 49-yard punt. No return, so that's the net. That's a good stop for the kicker. Ben Tripe is asking for things to slow down a little bit.
Penalty marker on the field.
Penalty marker. Bill Parcells looking on. He said to us yesterday, I think we're going to play well. I've just got that feeling. Ben Tripe.
Legal procedure for the Rams.
They want to make Misko kick it again. So they'll bring the whole thing back. He had a 49-yard punt with no return, a good net, a good kick, but he'll have to do it again.
I'm sure that John Robinson wasn't happy about that because he was telling us the other day that his punter, John Misko, number 6 here, has been in a little slump. He said it's funny, you know, the closer you get to the playoffs, it seems like a lot of punters are in a slump. I think that's true. A lot of reasons for it.
Due to pressure, maybe?
Pressure, weather, end of the season, tired leg, I don't know, but you see it all over the league.
Keep in mind that the Giants would have had the ball at their own 31.
Well, they didn't bring the football back. They're all lined up here, but the official with the football is still up here on the 30.
They have 2 footballs on the field. There's one.
The other one's way up here.
Eagle formation. 5 men in the backfield.
Now they got a different penalty and another penalty.
Yeah, at least they're down to 1 football.
Misko now is punting out of his own end zone. Gets off a fair kick this time. Not as good. Lionel Manuel. Fumble. Let's see if the Rams have got it.
The officials saying he was down, Pat. Officials said he was down before the fumble. Lionel Manuel has just started returning punts. Phil McConkey's been out for 3 weeks, a regular punt returner. He catches the ball fine. Now, they say that he was down before the ball came out. Now, that's possible that the whistle could have blown before that ball popped out.
Well, it turned out that the Giants pick up 15 yards by making a punt again. And here's Phil Simms going to work early. He has Rob Carpenter out of the backfield, and they move into Ram territory. Let's check the Giant offense. Phil Simms, the quarterback. Joe Morris, Rob Carpenter, the runners. Ernest Gray back at wide receiver along with Bobby Johnson. The offensive line for the Giants has Zeke Mowat at tight end, William Roberts at left tackle, Brad Benson, Kevin Belcher, Chris Godfrey, and Carl Nelson the rest. Second down and 2 as Phil Simms gets the Giants out of the huddle quickly. Carpenter. About to the line of scrimmage before Greg Meisner and Mel Owens make the stop. The Rams will start Jack Youngblood. There was some doubt about that at left defensive end. Greg Meisner is the nose tackle and Reggie Doss on the other side. The linebackers, Mel Owens, Carl Eckern, Jim Collins, and Mike Wilcher. In the secondary, it's Gary Green and Leroy Irvin, the cornerbacks. Vince Newsom, one of the safeties, and Johnny Johnson, the other. Simms looking and hitting for a Giant first down at the Ram 38. Lionel Manuel. Let's see how he got open. Excuse me, John.
I was just going to say that both of those first 2 passes have been of the short variety where Simms can come back. The first one was to Carpenter here, a little quick pass. You see Manuel starts out, it's a little hook, then he slides to the outside right in front of Gary Green.
First down Giants at the Ram 38. Alberth in motion. Simms back to throw and goes complete. Ernest Gray. Close to another first down and is. And a gain of 11. They'll move the sticks. Jim Collins on the stop.
These were the type of passes that we were talking about. The thing where he doesn't have to get back, hold the ball, and wait and wait. You see, and he's mixing up his receivers. He started off with Carpenter, then he went to Manuel. Now here it's Ernest Gray. He just comes in, delays, works to the outside, catches the ball underneath the defense.
Bill Parcells was saying yesterday repeatedly, we have to execute the passing game. We have to get it done early. This is Lawrence. A yard, perhaps, no more. Mike Wilcher was the first man to make contact. He played behind Lawrence Taylor at North Carolina. He was a sophomore when Lawrence was graduating, and then he replaced him his last 2 years. Here he's replaced George Andrews, who went down with knee surgery. Big linebacker, 6'3" and 240 at least. Regular grass, no artificial turf here at Anaheim Stadium, the home of the Rams. Wild card game. Simms back to throw, has time, now has to come out of the pocket, now goes deep. Flag is down. It was intended for Bobby Johnson, penalty marker, and Simms is clapping his hands. Leroy Irvin on the defense.
Well, the flag is way over here on the other side, opposite the throw, so it's probably defensive holding.
John Robinson looking on.
Sure, he doesn't like this start.
Deep end, number 50, illegal contact. That's 5 yards, and that's a first down.
Jim Collins, the leading tackler for the Rams. He's had a super year.
John Robinson was saying that Jim Collins is his best defensive player right now.
First down, Giants at the Ram 21 with 9:59 left in the first quarter, and Rob Carpenter is the lone setback. Aldrich goes in motion. Carpenter, who barrels down to about the 15, a pickup of about 6. Vince Newsom made the stop.
I like what the Giants are doing here early on this drive. They have very good mixture. You know, they're throwing the ball right, they're throwing it left, they're throwing it inside, they're running. They're really having a nice mix-up here. Watch the play coming right here. It's a little trap, and then on the other side, Galbraith trapped the other side, and then Carpenter was able to cut back.
Here comes Galbraith in motion again. Sims lost it. Giants got it back. They wasted a play. Kevin Belcher made the recovery after Sims couldn't handle the snap from center.
You can see it here, the ball never got up. It could have hit Belcher on the right knee as it went up. I've never seen that one before. I've seen them where they don't get the hand all the way up. But I've never seen him hit his leg.
ZEKE MOWATT is lined up in the backfield. MANUEL is wide to the left. Flags go down everywhere. Youngblood jumped, but it looked like he might have been pulled offside. Sims never got the offense set up quite.
63 offense. Ball start.
Carl Nelson moved early.
I think Carl Nelson moved real early. He was about 4 steps into his back pedal. See if we can watch it. Here's Carl Nelson right here. Now he has to block Jack Youngblood. He's thinking about it. He's already back a little. He's going to get an early start. See him? 1, 2, 3. He was 4 steps back. He said, that's a way to keep him off me.
That's what Youngblood's reputation will do to you. 3rd down and 9. Rams show a blitz. Then they don't come, and Sims goes. Incomplete, no penalty flags. Ernest Gray, the intended receiver. Sims thinks interference should be called. He runs downfield to talk to the official. Gary Green was the defender. And we'll have to have a look at Ali Haji Sheik. I guess that's a negative approach. Have to have a look.
Have to have a look.
It's been a bad year.
Did you see Phil Sims run down there? Remember a game about a month ago he ran down there and he got a penalty called on him doing that, so he pulled off a little today.
That was against Philadelphia. 37-yard attempt by Ali Haji Sheik with Jeff Rutledge holding. This part of the field is rather slippery. That looks like it's plenty far enough, and it's plenty good enough. And the Giants move on top. A rather odd opening series, but it's 3-0 Giants with 8:28 left first quarter.
Light up your eyes, unwrap your smile. Let your arms undo the miles. Bring your heart back home and find that special face. Decorate your time with laughter. Let the hours live ever after.
In the past 40 years, Chevrolet has brought more people home for the holidays than anyone. Have a happy new year, America.
The phones you lease from AT&T have to earn the name Old Reliable. We test them to make sure they're tough enough to survive almost anything you can dish out. And that's why, if there ever is trouble, AT&T will replace your leased phones free at our phone center, or just call toll-free. AT&T will worry about the hang-ups, so you won't have to. AT&T Consumer Sales and Service.
We're at Anaheim Stadium. Pat Summerall and John Madden not too far away. The snow-capped mountains, Orange County, on a beautiful Southern California afternoon. 3-0 Giants as the sheet kicks off. Barry Redden at the goal line. He had a little alley, but it was shut down in a hurry by Larry Flowers, who really put a wham on Barry Redden.
You know, special teams is always a big part of football, but when you get into playoffs and championship games, these are the areas where games can be won and lost. You need guys like Flowers, you know, that get down there, get away from blocks, just as that thing, just search out the ball carrier, feel for it, and then whap, come in and do something about it.
Larry Flowers, 4 years of pro from Texas Tech. One of the things that the Rams said, John Robinson said yesterday, is our special teams outplayed their special teams when we beat them the first time. Larry Flowers doesn't know about that. Gets back to throw on first down. Has time. Throws it out to Dickerson, who heard the footsteps of Lawrence Taylor and couldn't hang on.
Taylor's coming.
You know, that's some matchup. You talk about players and stars in this league and who could be the best player. Well, right here is a matchup of two of the best players in the game. Dickerson says, well, even if I did catch that one, I'm not going to go much farther than that anyway, so why bother catching it?
Remember what you asked Dickerson yesterday? Who's the best linebacker in the league? He didn't hesitate very much, but he said it's Lawrence Taylor.
Didn't hesitate at all.
Second down. Kemp gives to Dickerson. Penalty markers down. Dickerson looking for someplace to go. Can't find it. Jim Burt knocked him forward, but there are flags on the play.
Well, it's going to be against the Rams. It was number 86, Mike Barber. He was the left tight end here, and he jumped offside before the ball was snapped. Well, of course, that means go before the snap.
Been a tough start, a rocky start for the Rams, penalty-wise and losing the ball-wise and having to re-kick. Here's Ben Bryant.
Illegal motion, offense, two men moving at the same time.
There it is right here. We'll see Mike Barber, the end man, the nearest guy right here. You see him jump there? Yep, can't do that. A little nervous. You know, a lot of that has to do with being in a playoff game. Everyone's in the locker room. They get excited. Come on, let's go, let's go. And I got those little things you usually get early in a game.
That's the fourth penalty against the Rams already. They give to Dickerson. He gets nothing as Jim Burt and Leonard Marshall knock him down.
You know, we were talking about 7 and 8. Here's what we're talking about. You see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now that's 7. Now that means that the rest of the secondary is back off. So this is the look that the Rams really want to run against. Now if they get another safety up here, then it's a tough thing. See, so that's the 7 look. An 8 look would be that look with a safety up.
On third down, here go the Rams running, and here comes Dickerson. He barrels out to the 25. Harry Carson puts him down. A gain of about 6, but not enough for the first down. The Rams will send Misko on to punt again. They're going to have number 53, Carson, shadowing Dickerson all day.
9 yards. Misko on punt formation.
Here's Misko. Lionel Manuel back deep for the Giants, standing at his own 34. Misko end over end. It'll bounce. Bounces to Lionel Manuel. Rams special teams are the best in the NFL. Ivory Sully was the first man down, and it usually is Ivory Sully. 31-yard net on the punt. 6:57 left in the first quarter. 3-0 Giants. Although it's across the country, there are still some Giant fans here. Some Giant hats right in the middle of the crowd in Anaheim, California. First down for their team at their own 42. They lead 3-0. Galbraith in motion and Sims back to throw. Has some time, has a man. It's Zeke Mowat. Enough for a first down at about midfield, just shy of midfield. It is not enough for a first down. Beg your pardon. It's a gain of about 7.
Yeah, I don't know if they have a deal in this league where they give a most improved player in the league, but if they did, this guy here, Zeke Mowat, would probably get it.
Well, he's gotten some recognition in the voting for the Pro Bowl. He finished 4th. 2 guys who are going to the Pro Bowl are Paul Kaufman and Doug Cosby. Here's Carpenter straight ahead. Midfield, Jim Collins stopped him there. It'll be a third down and about 2.
You know, pretty soon I think someone will start airing it out. Maybe not in this quarter, but what we see here thus far is two very cautious football teams. You know, and they're starting out, they don't want to make a mistake. They're not going to force anything. They don't want to do anything dangerously. All they're doing is just kind of feeling each other out, sparring like the first few rounds.
Eric Dickerson looking on, 3rd and 2, and the Giants will go with a spread formation. Tony Galbraith back there with Bill Sims. Here comes the blitz. Sims chased and hit and down. Carl Eckern with the Rams' first sack.
Eckern, he's right up over the right guard, right in front of us. Now what happens, the guard blocks down. He's going to help the center on the nose tackle, so Eckern comes right through free.
Why did he block down? I can't figure that out.
I don't know. Chris Godfrey did that, but you can't do that when the man's over you. If the linebacker's off, you can do that, but if he's up there, you have to check him first.
Dave Jennings back to punt for the Giants, and the dangerous Henry Ellard, who leads the league in punt returns, back. Off the side of his foot, a horrible kick. Ellard gets away from it. Jennings gets a good roll. It goes down to the 19-yard line. If it hadn't been for that bounce, that would have been dreadful. But as it ends up, it's a 41-yard punt with no return.
Well, it wasn't as bad as the one we saw last week in Carl Birdsong's, but it was close to it. This is what we were talking about. Punters just aren't punting the way they did early in the season. Watch that thing. He just didn't get that.
Maybe it was the sun. 3-0 Giants. The Giants 3, the Rams nothing. Last time the Giants were here, it was disaster for Dave Jennings. He had 2 punts blocked. Here's one of them. For the safety.
I'll tell you, punters remember those punts that they had blocked, don't they? I wonder if Jennings wasn't thinking about that, and trying to get the ball away maybe too quickly.
Failure has a way of sticking in your head. Brown and Ellard are wide to the left. Dickerson, fumble! The Giants have players swarming all around it. They're going to have it. Yes, sir. Dickerson has a bad hand, a bad left hand. That ball really popped out of there.
Looked like somehow it got up on his chest. Now, here he is. He's running that counter play. He leaves his blocker and starts to cut back. The ball was in his left arm, and it just bounced out. That was the hand that you were talking about. He had a cut between his left thumb and first finger, and that was the hand he was holding it with, and as he got hit, that thing just bounced right out of there.
So the Giants get the turnover and have it 1st and 10 at the Ram 23. And Sims fakes to Carpenter, just barely gets it away, incomplete. They had the heat on. Again, it was Carl Eckern who was close to Sims, and Ernest Gray was the intended receiver.
Pass intended for MOWATT was incomplete.
What they're trying to do is run a bootleg. Now watch Sims. He fakes to the right. Now he has his right guard, Chris Godfrey, leading him out there. But just as he gets to throw there, he has Eckern right on his front. That was back. He was just draped over him. Hard to throw that way.
Gray might have been open, but the heavy pressure by the Rams. And Sims was incomplete. Galbraith and Carpenter, the 2 setbacks as Sims looks over the defense on 2nd and 10. This time he has time. He gets it to MOWATT. And about the 16-yard line, Jim Collins is right there. A pickup of about 5 or 6. It'll be 3rd down.
Well, you know, the difference between ZEKE MOWATT this year and last year is his use as a receiver. You know, he came in as a free agent out of Florida State, and he was always a heck of a blocker. You know, darn near a great blocker. He didn't even think he was a receiver himself. And then the whole offseason, he just worked on receiving, and now he's really a top 2-dimensional tight end.
So it'll be 3rd down and about 2 or 3. The Giants are at the Ram 15. They lead 3-0. The winner moves on. The loser is home for Christmas as Sims comes out in the backfield. He'll have the 1st down. This part of the field is part of the baseball infield, and it's very soft. Of course, it's been resodded. That's new sod, and it was very wet, damp early in the week, and yesterday they tried to keep the Giants off of it when they were practicing. They did keep them off of it, in fact. But this is a soft part of the field right here where they are now.
Yeah, that was good coverage by the Ram defense. Sims was trying to throw to his right, couldn't find anything except to hold the run in.
Manuel and Gray are wide to the left on 1st and 10 from the Rams 12. Sims gets to Joe Morris, and Morris gets down to about the 7. Johnny Johnson tripped him up.
Johnson made the stop.
5-yard gain by Joe Morris. Second and 5 at the 7. 3:01 left to play first quarter. Bright, bright sunshine on most of the field, but right now the Giants are in the shadows. Shadows of the Ram goal line. Just 7 yards away from a 10-0 lead. Sims has time. Ball is almost caught, then lost. Rob Carpenter was the intended receiver. He was hit by Eckern, and they say it's incomplete.
I'll tell you, and that's why it was lost. That was a great hit by Carl Eckern, number 55. I'll tell you, because that would have been a touchdown. We'll see Rob Carpenter. He's going to be right on the goal line. Now watch 55 Eckern here. He starts to his left. He reads it. Now watch him as he puts that hit in there. And there was another one from the other side that also got him about the same time by Jim Collins. Both of the inside guys, Eckern and Collins, just sandwiched Carpenter.
3rd down and 5 at the 7. Sims will have to put it up. Wide left, incomplete. It is complete to Bobby Johnson. That should be enough for a first down.
It's going to be very close to a first down.
Let's see.
These young wide receivers of the Giants have really made them a different team this year. Like Bobby Johnson had both feet in, and then look, he dives. You can see that he has the first down there. He knew where that marker was, and he made a nice catch on that ball, but even a better run and a dive at the end to get the first down.
1st and goal at the 1. Carpenter going for it, doesn't get it. Carpenter wrapped backwards at the 1, right at the line of scrimmage. Reggie Doss was the first man to hit him.
Watch this. They come in there and they're going to trap DeJournay in there, number 70. See, they let him go. They get the trap there, but there's no hole for Carpenter. The linebackers just fill right over the top. There was just no place for him to go and nothing for him to jump over.
Eckern was the first man to make contact. Carpenter and Morris. Carpenter doesn't get it again. Stopped short again by the Ram defense. He tried to go airborne and was grounded.
And there was nothing to jump at. That was Carl Eckern again. What a series he's having on this form of plays here. But watch it. Carpenter jumped. Watch Eckern jump right there that they meet. And he doesn't get any penetration ball. He gets nothing out of that.
Carpenter tried to go over the top, but there was some bad weather up there.
Well, there was a high top.
Carpenter might try to ride the train from now on.
That takes a long time. A lot
3rd and goal at the 1. Galbraith into the game. They again get to Carpenter, and this time he gets in over the top, over the right side. A gallant stand by the Rams, but the Giants get the touchdown from Rob Carpenter. 3 cracks at it.
That was a nice move by Carpenter this time because watch him, he'll come in here square. Now he jumps and then he turns his body. And I think that's how he gets in. You see as he jumps, now that little turn there is the thing that just found enough of a crack to get that ball over the goal line. See, that was kind of what you'd call a twisting jump or something they use in the NBA. They probably got words for that. You know, jump, twist, turn, fall, drop, touchdown.
And Carpenter had the good hang time. Ali Haji Sheik, give credit to Carl Nelson for a good block on that touchdown, too. The Sheik is good, and it's 10-0 Giants with a minute and 10 seconds left to play in the first quarter. Look at the block by Nelson on Youngblood.
Giants went 23 yards in 9 plays.
Nelson would be the second guy in next to 84 MOWATT. He really does. He gets Youngblood going back, and that's the thing that lets Carpenter get his body in sideways into the end zone.
The whole thing set up by a fumble
Backwards.
And that touchdown and this man's extra point, Ali Haji Sheik about to kick off, makes it 10-0 Giants. Redden takes the ball on the bounce. Redden to the 32-yard line. There are no penalties this time as Lawrence Taylor, playing on special teams, makes the tackle. 27-yard return by Redden.
Here comes Lawrence Taylor when the other team has the ball. He's in on most of the tackles. Bill Parcells says, I'm going to put him on the kickoff coverage and the punt coverage because we need this one, and there's nothing to save these guys for. He's a pretty good guy not to save.
Why not go with your best when the stakes are this high? 1st and 10 for the Rams at their own 32. They trailed 10-0. The 40. Close to a first down. Gary Reason's out to make the stop.
This is the thing that John Robinson was saying, and he wants to do, is he said, we want to be able to get the ball to Ron Brown because he has that great speed. Remember him from the Olympics. Get the ball out there on a screen, get the line out in front of him, and maybe a little short pass can turn into a big gain. That time it's just about 10 yards, but you throw enough of those to Ron Brown, and one could go 70 or 80.
Good block by Doug Smith, the Rams center out there. First down, and that's the Rams' first down. 42 seconds left in the first quarter.
Well, the Rams just haven't gotten going yet. You know, they're just like they're still in the pregame warm-ups. They're having penalties, Dickerson fumbles, and this and that. And they haven't gotten any fluidness to them yet.
Brown and Ellard both split wide to the left this time. Lawrence Taylor showing blitz, and here he comes. This time he's picked up by Pankey, and Kemp fires deep for Henry Ellard, complete, but there's a flag on the play. They're going to call it against the Rams. Kenny Daniel on the coverage. Ellard is down. The holding penalty is going to be against number 62, Bill Payne.
I think it is too. It was a late call, Pat. It was
holding number 62.
Now there's a big guy. When you talk about big, you're talking big. You're talking like 330 pounds. Let's see if we can see him right here. Bill Payne. Here's McGriff. Here's who he'll be blocking against, but it happens deep here as Kemp starts to scramble. Now, watch here. He starts out pretty good pass protection. McGriff starts beyond him. Now, as Kemp starts to scramble, it was a late hold. It was after that. It was at the end of the play.
He did everything right in the beginning, didn't he?
He sure did. I mean, you talk about having to get around a guy. How'd you like to have to get around a guy like that on pass rush? That's like going to Mexico to get to New York from here. Watch his hit on Ellard by Kenny Daniel. That's the way you draw up tackles.
That'll get your
right in the midsection.
Here's Ellard up and trotting off the field. Like you'll be okay.
John Robinson says someday Henry Ellard and Ron Brown are going to be the two premier wide receivers in this league.
Ellard just acknowledging to the medical staff that he's okay. Just had the wind knocked out of me. 20-yard gain wiped out. That'll be 1st and 20. Rams at their own 32 with time to go. One more play in the first quarter. 13 seconds left. Dickerson, of course, the lone setback, and now he moves. George Farmer place of ELLARD. Dickerson tries to cut back inside. Leonard Marshall right there to take care of it.
Leonard Marshall played that play perfectly. He hit into Irv Pankey and just held him off, ran right down the line of scrimmage, and then he was able to come off on the tackle. That's the way a defensive end is supposed to play a sweep. You see him watch. He gets his hands up on Pankey, plays him off, just pushes him to the side, and comes back in and makes the tackle on Dickerson. That's perfect defensive end play.
The end of one at Anaheim Stadium. And the Giants lead the Rams by the score of 10-0. Ready to go with the second quarter at Anaheim Stadium, where the Giants lead the Rams 10-0. Second down and 19. Eric Dickerson, 6 carries, 12 yards. 7 carries. Lawrence Taylor tripped him up. He got an assist from Carl Banks. Taylor lost his helmet.
This is a play that the Rams call 47 gap. We see Gooman starts in. He's going to block Taylor, starts a block, then he goes to a hole. Taylor gets off that. Look at that extension he has, loses his helmet, but he still gets Eric Dickerson down.
And it'll be third down and 15. Henry ELLARD back in the game. He just had the wind knocked out of him. Kemp retreats to throw. The Giants on a blitz. The penalty marker is down as Kemp scrambles. Doesn't get the first down. Gets out to about the 46 before Harry Carson trips him up. But there's going to be a holding call, I'm sure, against the Rams.
I think there's 2 flags on it. Lawrence Taylor is playing the left side. He usually plays the right defensive side. I think they expect more at Dickerson from this side. The Giants are playing Taylor over on this side, number 62. And he was blitzing from that side. The holding, again, was against Bill Bain.
Giants take the penalty. Bill Bain has had a good year. Picked on some of the all-pro teams, going to the Pro Bowl. Done a good job. 6 penalties against the Rams. They've lost 45 yards, and they've been crucial.
Let's watch it again. There's 62 Bain there. Again, it looks like he just, as he started to go down, he just pulled George Martin down with him. That was a takedown, a tackle.
Third and 27. He's going to go back to throw, being chased by Marshall. Now George Martin finally takes him down. Good rush by the Giants. And the Rams just can't get anything going. Misco on the punt again.
Well, as you said, in the first 6 carries, Eric Dickerson only had 12 yards. That's not establishing that. And that's their offensive football. The Giants are playing very good defense against the run, making the Rams pass, and the Rams right now are not a passing team.
Correct what I said about Bill Bain. He was picked to some Pro Bowl teams. He is not going to the Pro Bowl, however. Misco on the 10. Good kick. Manuel at his own 35. Takes away from a couple, still on his feet. Manuel's got some room. Out of bounds in Ram territory at about their 48. James McDonald chases him out of bounds. 40-yard punt, but a 17-yard return. So the Giants once again get the ball in good shape. 13 minutes, 42 seconds left to play in the first half. 10-0 Giants. The Giants 10, the Rams nothing. Giants had the ball at the Ram 48. They've had great field situations so far. Started at their own 47, their own 42, and at the Ram 23. Now they're at the Ram 48. A lot of chances. They've been able to take advantage of 2 of them. Here's Joe Morris. Morris fights over the right side for a gain of about 8.
I really think the Rams pretty soon have to take Jack Youngblood out, as we see Carl Nelson here blocking 163 on 85. He drives out on him. Youngblood tries to spin. They get him knocked out darn near double team, but Youngblood has been a great player over the years, one of the greatest that ever played this game as a defensive end, but he has a bad back that has gone into a sciatic nerve down his leg, and it's hard to play defensive end one-legged.
You can't do it. Although he did play one time with a broken leg. First down, Giants by Carpenter.
I think this is a different type. He did, in fact, the year the Rams went to the Super Bowl, Jack Young played that game with a broken leg. But this is sciatic. I've never had one of those, but they say they're one of the most painful things that you can have, and you just don't have any power in your leg.
You just can't push off. 14 years, and he's been great.
I asked him yesterday if he was going to play. He said it's Sunday, ain't it?
Here they come at him again. This time the Rams defended. Joe Morris. Stopped by Charles DeJournay. Jim Burt, the Giants nose tackle, over on the bench. Well padded.
That's what a nose tackle looks like on the bench. You always try and stay cool. You know, those guys, bigger guys sweat a lot more. So you always like cold towels, oxygen, drinks, stuff like that. Because you have to wear all those pads and stuff, and your body has to breathe, so you have to pour cold stuff on the outside of it.
Jim Burt came to play. Here come the Rams on a blitz. Sims in trouble. Gets rid of it. Throws it on the ground. Incomplete. That'll bring up third and long. Lionel Manuel, I think, was the intended receiver, but he was nowhere in the area. Sims did get the ball upfield.
That's all Sims was trying to do, was avoid a sack on that one, because the Rams had him surrounded. He had no receivers open. The only alternative he had was either take that sack or try and get the ball on the ground, upfield.
3rd and 8 as the Rams put in Eric Harris as the 5th defensive back. And they go with 4 down linemen now. He puts some, or attempt to put some heat on the passer. Sims out of the spread now. This time he has time. This time he goes with an attempt to Ernest Gray. There are no penalty markers. They're too far out for Ali Haji Sheik, I think. And the Giants will have to punt. Gary Green was the defender.
Well, Phil Sims tried to get the ball to Ernest Gray. That was the good news. The bad news is Ernest Gray was double covered, and he couldn't get away from the coverage.
And out comes Dave Jennings.
Watch, here it is right here. You see they have him short and they have him deep. 2 guys on him, so Sims had no place to throw the ball. He could have just thrown it away there.
Jennings, 41-yard punt his first time. Punting now from midfield, aiming for the left sideline. Hangs this one high. The Rams won't try to handle it. Out of bounds, way out of bounds. Rams at their own 15, 1st and 10.
Yeah, the officials work that. The deep guy runs up, the referee watches, he tells them when to stop, and that's how they mark it.
20-yard punt by Jennings, 10-0 Giants over the Rams. I guess that's his. With the defensive coordinator. Giants really haven't done too much different, except they're throwing the ball shorter and quicker, which is what they said they had to do. Ram first down at their own 15. 11:36 left to play in the first half. 10-0 Giants. Dickerson, no place to go. A gain of about 3. Jim Burt. Dickerson's so dangerous when he cuts back.
Well, the other thing is, you know, he's always has big second halves, and he has big fourth quarters.
We're telling you a while ago, just a minute ago, where the Giants had started their offensive drives. Look at the Rams' last 4 possessions, where they started. Their own 20, their own 20, their own 19, their own 32. They haven't had a score yet. They've been penalized a lot. They've got very little going so far. McDonald in motion. Dickerson. Tries to get to the outside. Does not get a first down. Carl Banks chasing him down. Gary Reason's also on the tackle.
Well, you know, the other thing we were talking about is David Hill. Now watch on the end of the line, 81 David Hill against Lawrence Taylor. John Robbins said David Hill is one of the best blockers in the league. But I'll tell you, Lawrence Taylor really strings it out. Hill has him about as good as you can block a guy, but the whole Giant line was down there, and Hill didn't get much help. That wasn't a bad block, but he just didn't, there was no crease for Dickerson.
Taylor's play enabled Banks to chase him down. Kemp fakes, throws. ELLARD has the first down at the 43-yard line. Kenny Daniel on the coverage. Good throw by Kemp for the gain of 20.
The thing about Henry ELLARD, you know, we saw him go off earlier with that shot that he took by Daniel. Comes back. Now he runs the same pattern. It's going to be an in pattern. You see him come in, come up, come in, snap that ball off, go down, catch that ball just off the ground. No way those are intercepted. Those are very safe passes.
Rarely is Jeff Kemp intercepted.
Very efficient.
Second in the NFL in terms of passes intercepted. McDonald in motion. The fake was to Dickerson. The handoff was to Dwayne Crutchfield. He is smothered.
Curtis McGriff got there about the same time the handoff to Crutchfield got there. Watch McGriff, number 76 here. He starts outside. Now he comes right in. You see, he gets Crutchfield about the same time Crutchfield got the ball. I think he was on a stunt. He started to stunt to that inside, and look at that. Look, here's a quarterback, a ball, and a ball carrier all in one. Nice little package.
ELLARD and Brown on 2nd and 9 come wide to the right. Now David Hill comes to that side. Now Brown goes in motion the other way. Here comes Dickerson. Dickerson close to a first down, but once again there's a flag down on the play.
I'll tell you, anytime the Rams just have a little inkling of getting something started, that flag goes down, and that's what the third holding penalty, no, the fourth holding penalty I think they've had.
That is indeed the
Number
fourth.
60.
This time it's against Dennis Hara.
Well, the ball was run to that side. It wasn't run over Hara. It was run outside of Bain. Off tackle.
That would have been Dickerson's longest gain of the day, but it's holding against Hara.
There's Harris Hara right there on number 70, Marshall. See, he has that right hand up there. That doesn't look like a hold. The pushing is okay. That didn't look like a bad hold. You know, it's probably good hold and bad hold. That wasn't a bad hold.
Not a severe violation. 2nd down and 19. The Rams at their own 34. To Mike Barber. Gets back to about the original line of scrimmage before Reasons and Carson bring him down. Let's see who picked up the blitzing Lawrence Taylor.
Well, it's usually an offensive lineman. Watch number 56, and it's going to be Irv Pankey starts out. You see the left tackle, 75? He slides out. Now, that's a big thing now with the new rule. You see, a guy can hit, then he can extend his arm. So now what they do is they just get him going, and these big guys just push those guys right beyond the quarterback.
3rd and 9, Rams their own 44. 24, Newman in motion. Kemp looking right. Misses Henry ELLARD. Way over his head. Terry Kennard was close. But the Rams one more time will have to punt.
It looks like ELLARD was going inside and Kemp was throwing outside. Like some kind of miscommunication.
John Misko. Punted 3 times. Lionel Manuel standing at his own 16-yard line. We have 7:50 left to play in the first half, and the Giants leading 10-0. Misko gets off a good one this time. Stay in the air a long time. Manuel signals for the fair catch. Does it. At his own 25. 31 yards net on that punt. Giants will take over at their own 25-yard line. 10-0 they lead.
What happens on a punt coverage team. Now here's Mike Pleasant. He's a rookie from Oklahoma. Now he's the only guy that can go when the ball is snapped. So you always have 2 guys on him. Now these 2 are going to be on him. Now watch that battle as they go downfield. When they knock him down, see Pleasant starts to the inside. He's still got the double team. They knock him down. Now all 3. Now they all bounce up. Now they hit him again. That's Pete Shaw there. Elvis Patterson is getting hit there by Pleasant. But that's the type of thing that goes on all the way down the field to the outside guy on punt coverage.
Well, it's not a very pleasant trip. Seems intended for Galbraith. Incomplete. Sims indicating at the sideline that he was open, but it was my fault. I just missed him. Bad throw.
Or maybe a bad read. I think he was saying that the pattern was okay. It was a good call. I liked that play, and it was just my fault. It didn't work. So don't give up on that one. You know, a quarterback will do that. Ron Earhart, the offensive coordinator of the Giants, is up in the press box. He calls a play, and a quarterback will let him know when they like something. You know, I like that one. Stay with it. Come back again.
Sims is 6 out of 12 at 2nd and 10. He'll try to throw again and does. This one's caught by MOWATT. Scrambling for a first down. He might be a little bit short. Gain of 9. He might be a yard short.
Zeke MOWATT looks like a different guy this year. Last year, you know, he was just happy to be there. He was a blocker. Now, just the way he runs the patterns, the way he carries himself. Look, double coverage, guy slides down, catches it, turns, dips the shoulder. You can just see confidence in that guy now. He looks like a different person on the field.
3 receptions, 23 yards. They need a yard for a first down. Youngblood, by the way, is out of the game now, and Doug Reed has taken his place as they hammer the right side. Joe Morris does for a first down.
Joe Morris, the ball carrier, carries for the first down.
The Giants, who aren't supposed to be able to run, they only had 8 yards in the regular season meeting between these two, have 35, and the Rams, who have Eric Dickerson, who's broken all kinds of records, have only got 25. But John Robinson was saying yesterday, if we can stay close, we can wear you down. Dickerson is very durable. They hand off to Rob Carpenter. They might have lost a yard. Charles DeJournay, who alternates with Greg Meisner at nose tackle for the Rams, made the stop.
That's one of John Robinson's philosophies, and it always has been, that you get the ball and you use the first quarter and the first part of the third quarter to wear the defense down. Wear them down, wear them down. And then at the end of the third quarter and in the fourth quarter, that's when you really get them.
That carries over from the days at USC when they had all those great tailbacks. And here again, he has a great tailback. Sims back to throw. Rams on a blitz. Sims is chased. Gets it out to Carpenter. He's chased down by Mel Owens. Good play by Owens because Carpenter had some green grass in front of him.
I think Owens saw that and also realized it, and he knew that if I don't get him, no one's going to get him for a while.
No gain.
I tell you, he really bursted on that thing, number 58, Owens. Watch this. We see Carpenter. See, he fakes like he's going to block. Then he slips out there. Owens sees it, and watch him now. He knows it. I better get him. So he gives that full extension to get Rob Carpenter down.
3rd and 12. The Giants at their own 36 put Sims back in the spread formation. He has time this time. No, he doesn't. He's taken down by DeJournay. Second sack of Sims. DeJournay came flying out of nowhere. It looked like Sims was going to have a lot of time, and all of a sudden he didn't.
I tell you, DeJournay is just right over the center. It's just a 3-man rush. Now watch him. He breaks through right off the bat. He starts in. He just goes right to the left. Then he does the spinner. See, he had a double team. Comes off the spinner, starts to the left, spins around, and then when he got finished spinning, he was right in front of Phil Sims.
That was one of the best spinning moves we've seen ever.
It was a great spinner against the double team.
Jennings gets off a good kick. Henry Ellard retreats to his own 27. Ellard to the 41. Bill Parcells made the stop. 33 yards net. Jennings' punt was 47. The return was 14. 10-0. Giants leading. Pat Summerall and John Madden at Anaheim Stadium, where the wave is flowing around. And the Rams will operate in their best, at least start from their best field position of the day, their own 41-yard line. 10-0 Giants leading. Dickerson over the right side has some room, and Dickerson has the Rams first down in Giant territory before Harry Carson can take him down. A gain of 11.
They finally broke that play. That's that 47 gap where they have the off tackle, Irv Pankey, and the off guard, Kent Hill. You see them pulling? They're going to come here. Little counter by Dickerson. Takes the thing, comes off the second block right there of Pankey. Now he has a big wide hole and got him through there for the first down.
That was an overpowering block by Pankey. He just smothered Gary Reason. First down in Giant territory for the Rams. Their own at the Rams, Giant 48. Kemp outside the Brown. Brown breaks one tackle, breaks another. Stays on his feet inside the Giant 30 to the 28. Leonard Marshall finally took him down.
These are the types of passes that Jeff Kemp throws the best. You see Ron Brown out there to the left. He's just going to run about a 10-yard out. Gets up over Lawrence Taylor's head, and then he has the good move there. He has a spinner, gets about 2 more yards, then he has another spinner. He had a double spinner on that. That's pretty good for a guy coming from the Olympics.
First and 10, and Brown is out. Drew Hill has replaced him. Dickerson, the only running back. That's about all you need. Dickerson hammers to the Giant 22 before Bill Courier can take him down. That's the toss play. They only have about 4 plays to each side in their repertoire, but they run it well.
Well, it's Dickerson right, Dickerson left, 46 and 47 gap. That's the off tackle. This is toss 48 and 49. 49 here. Just toss it out there to Dickerson, and he just runs around the outside, gets a big push, some good blocks out there.
Second down and about 3 at the Giant 22. Clock running with 2:14. This will be the last play before the 2-minute warning. Dickerson hammered. Leonard Marshall played it extremely well.
Yeah, the interesting thing is they are running that toss right and left, but it always is to David Hill's side. John Robinson was saying that David Hill is probably the best blocking tight end in football. He weighs 250 pounds. Let's watch him here. Now, the thing you can't have on any run is penetration. Leonard Marshall had penetration.
He played it well. 2-minute warning. 10-0 Giants. For the Rams at the Giant 27. The New York Giants 10. The Rams nothing. Dickerson the lone setback. David Hill is flanked to the right. He goes now in motion. Side Hill, and he won't get the first down. He's down, slips at about the 21. Terry Williams was out there with him in the Giant zone setup. They're going to go with a field goal unit. Lansford, who's 16 out of his last 18. On the kick.
That was a double slip on that play. The cover guy, Terry Williams, slipped first. Hill saw that, thought he was going to break it for a first down, and in doing so, he slipped.
Nolan Cromwell is Lansford's regular holder. He is out. So Steve Dills, the backup quarterback, number 8, will put it on the ground for a 38-yard attempt by the barefooted Lansford. 16 out of his last 18. 41 yards away, make it. And good. Rams are on the board. For the Giants, 3 for the Rams. Both teams have all of their timeouts remaining. A minute left first half. Giants 10, Rams 3. Field goal by Lansford, who's about to kick off. Kenny Hill hit at the 20 and hammered, and the ball's loose. I think the Giants got it back. Joe Morris fell on it. He would have been called down anyway, I'm sure. He was knocked backwards. Giants will take over with 52 seconds left on the clock in the first half. And they lead 10-3. It was Morris who came up with it.
First and 10 at the 20.
Might have been a fumble. A gain of about 1.
Jim Collins made the stop.
By Carpenter. Jim Collins made the stop.
Desjardins was in there. He penetrated and he hit Carpenter in the backfield before he got started.
Looks like the Giants are going to be content to take that 10-3 lead to the locker room.
I think so. I think when you play a whole first half and you have that conservative type thing where you're not going to force it, you don't wait until the last, inside of a minute and go for everything in 80 yards.
Down to 10 seconds now as they try to get over the left side. Carl Eckern on the stop, along with Reggie Doss. Clock continues to run. That's what the score is going to be. Well, they stopped the clock now with 4 seconds remaining. 10-3.
Los Angeles, first timeout.
Rams take this timeout. Don't know why.
Giving that extra effort makes winners. Be All You Can Be, sponsored by the U.S. Army. The same dogged perseverance that typifies the play of number 82, Paul Kaufman, is also symbolic of his career. After signing on as a free agent with Green Bay in 1978, the big tight end spent a full season on the sidelines. But through sheer tenacity, Kaufman worked his way into the starting lineup and into 2 Pro Bowls. By always striving for that second effort, Paul Kaufman has become the best he can be.
Anaheim Stadium, where the Giants lead the Rams 10-3. Watch this act.
They're going to try and strip the ball. The guy's down. Watch number 55, Carl Eckern there. He's still trying to strip. The play's over today. The coach told me to try and strip the ball. Get that thing out of there.
The other coach told Rob Carpenter to keep it close. 3rd and 9. 4 seconds left. First half. Sims back to throw. Got it complete to Carpenter. That will be the last play of the first half. Mello has knocked him out of bounds, and the Giants and Rams will head for the locker room. Coming up at the half. Coming up at the half, Tom Landry will be live from Dallas with Brent Musburger, and a first half analysis with Brent and Dick Vermeil. Right here at Anaheim Stadium, Pat Summerall and John Madden, where the Giants lead 10-3.
So the Giants with the lead here, Dick Vermeil, at the half, 10-3. Important for the Rams to get that field goal on the board. Tell me, as an ex-coach, do you miss it this time of year, the feeling of not being out there?
Well, I miss leading people. You know, you're used to driving people, coaching them, getting them going, firing them up. And I miss that part of the game, but really I don't miss all the highs and lows.
All right, well, let's welcome another man who's missing the playoffs for the first time in a decade, who is home with us right now, the coach of the Dallas Cowboys, Tom Landry. Tom, how unusual does it feel for you not to be either preparing the Cowboys for a divisional playoff or actually in the wild card game?
Well, it feels really different, Brent. You know, we've been in it so many years, and now to be out of it and everything come to a quick stop, it's very unusual for us.
Tom, I know this was an unhappy moment for you, but we're going to roll up in that key play of Dan Marino to Mark Clayton. What were your thoughts when you realized that he was loose on you and about to win the ball game and knock you out of the playoffs?
Well, I couldn't believe it, really. I think after Tony Hill made his great play, I thought we were destined maybe to win this game, but Montana has a great team, and of course that particular play there was a big play for him. Both of our defensive backs ended up on the ground, but it was you have to give them credit. They're an excellent team.
Tom, next year will you make many changes with the Cowboys? And I suppose I should specifically ask you about the quarterback spot. Gary Hogaboom has signed a new contract, and he said that he'd like you to come down to either he or Danny White. What are your feelings about that right now?
Well, I think we should. This year was a very unusual year for us in the way we went through this year. But I think next year you must have a quarterback that he knows it's his job and when it starts, and we're hoping to find that through the training camp.
Now, I know you watched the first half along with Dick Vermeil, and Dick, what about Eric Dickerson's big turnover in this game?
Well, you know, Brent, you can never turn the ball over in that part of the field and come out looking very good, and that hurt him. That gave the Giants the field position to go ahead and get that score, and that's the difference in the game right now.
All right. Tom, let's take a look at that particular play that we have, and what were your thoughts about the Rams against that Giant defense in the first half?
Well, you know, I thought that the Giants had a tremendous psychological advantage in this ball game, Brent, because they got beat so badly by the Rams earlier, and then they played so poorly against New Orleans, so I thought they had a psychological advantage. I think that's what's happening in the first half. The Rams don't realize how tough they're going to have to play to win this game.
All right, well, we're going to come back with Dick and Tom, and we'll talk about the second half right after these messages. We are at halftime along with Dick Vermeil and Dallas Cowboy coach Tom Landry. And Dick, did you think the Rams started to come alive in the second quarter of the game?
I felt the second part of that second quarter, you could feel the Rams maybe getting into the game plan, getting the ball to Dickerson like they wanted to, short passing game, picking up momentum. Definitely felt that.
Tom, how about you? What were your feelings about that second quarter?
Well, I think they picked up, Brent. The thing that you can't do when you have a running football team is you can't be in 1st and 15 or 2nd and 20, and that's where the Rams have spent most of the game. But in that last part of the second quarter, they eliminated the penalties, and they were able to move the football.
Dick, you have noticed a key matchup. We want to roll up the tape here. Leonard Marshall has been doing an outstanding job for the Giants.
Well, the defensive line has been controlling the line of scrimmage, and you'll see here that Leonard Marshall on Irv Pankey, number 75, controlling him and then working upfield and forcing Dickerson back into the pursuit, and they're doing a good job of that all the way along the line of scrimmage.
You know, Coach Landry, how do you feel about a single running back like Eric Dickerson? If you shut him down, you haven't got too many weapons to go to in that backfield, do you?
No, you really don't, but when you have an Eric Dickerson, you don't need more than one. He's a tremendous runner, and my feeling is the second half, if they can eliminate their penalties, then they're going to put a lot of pressure on New York before the game's over with.
You feel the same way, Dick?
Yes, I feel actually the Los Angeles Rams are a little more talented through that total roster, and it could show in the second half.
All right. Well, Coach Landry, happy holidays to you and the lovely wife down there in Dallas, and we certainly look forward to seeing what you finally do with the Dallas Cowboys during the offseason.
Thank you, Brent. It's been a pleasure to be with you.
Good. Now let's send everybody out live to our colleague, Irv Cross, who is standing by at halftime in Anaheim. And Irv, the Giants ahead 10-3. Take it away.
Brett, you know, we talked about the battle of the superstars early in the pregame show with Lawrence Taylor going against Eric Dickerson. And so far, Taylor's won the battle with 4 tackles, holding Dickerson to 12 carries and 37 yards in the first half. But you know, Jack Youngblood went out of the ball game late in the second quarter, but he was expected to be substituted free today. I talked to him before he went in the locker room before halftime and asked him if he'd be back in the game, and if his legs are holding up, he said, "Yep, I'll be back." Pat?
You know, John, I can't remember too much exciting about that first half. It seemed like nothing really happened. The Giants lead obviously 10-3, so something did happen. But I don't remember much of any consequence, Steve.
I don't either. It was a very funny first half, and I don't even look at it like it was the first half of playing football. I think it was more like sparring. I think they sparred the whole first half and tried to establish something, really didn't, and are going to get together at halftime and then come back and see what they want to do, because the first half really didn't make a lot of sense, and there wasn't much happened.
John, you had your teams in playoffs when you were coaching the Raiders. You've been in situations like this, playoffs, wild card games, what have you. Do you think when you get in a situation like this, there's a possibility, a tendency that some coaches might be too conservative, might try to be too careful?
I have the feeling that both of these coaches and both of these teams are a little too conservative. I also had the feeling that both teams were a little tight, especially in that first quarter. That's when we had the penalties, guys jumping off sides, those little things that shouldn't happen in championship football. I think that maybe in the second half, both teams will settle down, and maybe both coaches will open up a little more.
I have that same feeling. Right now, both teams are back out of the locker room. The Giants lead the Rams 10-3. We have another half of this wild card game coming ready to go with the second half. That's the Matterhorn at Disneyland. Over in the distance here from Anaheim, not too far away. First half statistics: 8 first downs for the Giants, just 4 for the Rams, 38 yards rushing. They have pretty well contained Eric Dickerson, and that's what you have to do if you're going to beat the Rams.
Well, you know, the other thing, the Giants passing is only 35 yards. I look at this second half that 1 or 2 guys have to get hot. I think if Phil Simms gets hot for the Giants, that's what they need. That'll be enough for them to win this game. On the other side, Eric Dickerson has to get hot for the Rams. I think it's the first guy that does that is going to win this game. These 2 guys.
Mike Lansford back to kick off as you look at Dickerson. Frank Cephas on the far side. Kenny Hill in the middle, number 48. And Joe Morris back there with him for the Giants. It goes in the direction of Cephas. And he'll handle at the 10. Hammered, but gets out to the 30. Hit by Ivory Sully. 10-3.
Quarter, but he was expected to be substituted free today. I talked to him before he went in the locker room before halftime and asked him if he'd be back in the game, and if his legs are holding up, he said, "Yep, I'll be back." Pat?
You know, John, I can't remember too much exciting about that first half. It seemed like nothing really happened. The Giants lead obviously 10-3, so something did happen. But I don't remember much of any consequence, do you?
I don't either. It was a very funny first half, and I don't even look at it like it was the first half of playing football. I think it was more like sparring. I think they sparred the whole first half and tried to establish something, really didn't, and are going to get together at halftime and then come back and see what they want to do, because the first half really didn't make a lot of sense, and there wasn't much happened.
John, you had your teams in playoffs when you were coaching the Raiders. You've been in situations like this, playoffs, wild card games, what have you. Do you think when you get in a situation like this, there's a possibility, a tendency that some coaches might be too conservative, might try to be too careful?
I have the feeling that both of these coaches and both of these teams are a little too conservative. I also had the feeling that both teams were a little tight, especially in that first quarter. That's when we had the penalties, guys jumping off sides, those little things that shouldn't happen in championship football. I think that maybe in the second half, both teams will settle down, and maybe both coaches will open up a little more.
I have that same feeling. Right now, both teams are back out of the locker room. The Giants lead the Rams 10-3. We have another half of this wild card game coming ready to go with the second half. That's the Matterhorn at Disneyland. Over in the distance here from Anaheim. Not too far away. First half statistics. 8 first downs for the Giants, just 4 for the Rams. 38 yards rushing. They have pretty well contained Eric Dickerson, and that's what you have to do if you're going to beat the Rams.
Well, you know, the other thing, the Giants passing is only 35 yards. I look at this second half that 1 or 2 guys have to get hot. I think if Phil Simms gets hot for the Giants, that's what they need. That'll be enough for them to win this game. On the other side, Eric Dickerson has to get hot for the Rams. I think it's the first guy that does that is going to win this game. These 2 guys.
Mike Lansford back to kick off as you look at Dickerson. Frank Cephas on the far side. Kenny Hill in the middle, number 48. And Joe Morris back there with him for the Giants. It goes in the direction of Cephas. And he'll handle at the 10. Hammered, but gets out to the 30. Hit by Ivory Sully. 10-3 Giants in this wild card game. The winner, if it's the Giants, will go to San Francisco. If it's the Rams, they'll go to Washington.
There's a little different deal there. They're trying to get, when they tape over the markings that are on the shoe, then they make the markings that are on the shoe before they put the tape over the markings that are on the shoe.
That has to do with some kind of a deal. MANUEL in motion. Simms back to throw and will try to throw quickly and does. ZEKE MOWATT. A gain of 8. Carl Eckern made the stop. First half possessions, you can see where the Giants started. 47-42. The LA 23, that led to the touchdown. The LA 48 really never did have very bad field position. The handoff is to Morris. Morris on the right side. Lunges near first-round yardage. Vince Newsom made the stop, and I think he got the first. Well, they move it back a little bit. Might be a foot short, and it might be there. It is a first down. Joe Morris out to the right side.
You know, one thing I think the Giants somewhere in this second half, to me, they play the best offensive football when they have 1 tight end, 3 wide receivers, and 1 back in the backfield. They're using more 2-back today. And I think if and when they decide to open it up, the best way they do it is 3 wide receivers.
Now they go with the 1 back again, and they send Galbraith in motion. The Rams show blitz. To Ernest Gray from Sims. Johnny Johnson on the stop. Gain of 8. It'll be 2nd and 2.
Johnny Johnson made the stop.
You know, Phil Sims is the type of guy that can get hot, too, and success builds success in him. If he can get the ball off, if he has his protection, find his guys, he hits a couple like this, then the more confidence he gets, the deeper and deeper he starts going.
And the Giant offensive line did a good job of picking up that Ram blitz. They made all the right adjustments. 2nd down at the 49. Bobby Johnson is the man in motion. Rams on a blitz again. Carpenter. Close. Hit by Greg Meisner, the nose man. He's
Well,
close
that
to
time the blitz up there, that was Gary Green, the cornerback, was coming on the blitz. Let's watch Meisner, number 67, the nose tackle over the center. He starts on there, 69, I mean Meisner. He starts on the center, starts riding Belcher down, and then plays off him to his right side.
The 4-year pro from Pittsburgh. 3rd down and a foot. Or less. Morris hammers over the right side. A penalty marker is down. I think it might have been Youngblood who jumped.
It was Jack Youngblood. That'll be against the Rams. It'll be a 1st down for the Giants. And Youngblood was trying to get down there low, get some penetration, get in that backfield, and he just started a little early.
Defense, 85. That'll be a 1st down.
The Rams have been penalized. Here's Youngblood again.
I want you to see he was trying to get down and hit that gap between the center and the tight end. Just got started a little early. You know, sometime when you have an injury, we talked about Youngblood having that sciatic nerve thing, you lose a little of your concentration.
And you try to compensate. They fake to Carpenter. ZEKE MOWATT to the Ram 23 before Johnny Johnson can bring him down. Gary Green helped.
They were talking about ZEKE MOWATT and how much more confidence he has. Phil Sims also has a lot more confidence in MOWATT. You see that counter play? They fake the counter. The guard pulls out. Brad Benson pulls out in front. MOWATT comes across. Sims was looking for ZEKE MOWATT all the way, and he hits him for a big play darn near down to the 20-yard line.
That's a play that the Redskins discovered last year, and now everybody runs it. Mowatt's caught 5. This is Johnson in motion. To give the handoff to Morris. Stopped in the backfield by Reggie Doss. Good play by Reggie Doss, number 71.
Reggie Doss did the same thing that Leonard Marshall did to the Rams. Again, you get that penetration, you get the defensive end into the backfield. Watch Reggie Doss here. You see he starts riding down, and then he gets up into the backfield. You see him. Morris has no place to go. He's just standing there waiting for him. He was working on William Roberts, number 66 of the Giants.
2nd down and 11. Line of scrimmage is the Ram 24. Rob Carpenter is the lone setback. Galbraith goes in motion. Here they come with another blitz. Sims going to get away. Get away. Knocked down in the end zone. No penalty marker intended for Ernest Gray. Johnny Johnson was the defender.
That was an interesting matchup there, Pat. 2 guys just coming off injured reserve. Johnny Johnson had a broken leg earlier. He was on the injured reserve. Ernest Gray just came off the injured reserve list. Now they're going man-on-man, step for step in the end zone. Look at that. 4 hands going up at once.
That's good coverage.
That is good coverage. He's right there. He's looking up at the ball. He knows where Gray is. Gets his hands on the ball.
A 3rd and 11 situation from the Ram 24. Now they have those 3 wide receivers in the game, and Sims starts to show him spread. Now he starts back up, and now he backs up again. Sims has time, gets it outside for Galbraith. Shakes 1 tackle, shakes another. Is brought down at the Ram 20 by Greg Meisner with an assist from Jim Collins.
Here's what a nose tackle has to do on a pass. Watch Meisner, 69 there. He starts a rush. Now he sees it's a pass down the line, so you don't run in behind. You just lumber right down the line and see if you can find something down there. He did that time. He found Galbraith. Stopped him from getting the first down. Make him kick a field goal.
That's pretty good hustle. You got to want to get there to do that. 39 yards away. There's Ali Haji. Good. 13-3. Giants. John Robinson looking on. He can't be too unhappy with his defense, although the Giants did get a field goal out of it. Parcells looking on anxiously. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Sheik. 13-3. NFC Wildcard game. The Giants over the Rams 13-3, third quarter. If the Giants win, they're going to spend Christmas on the West Coast. Ali Haji Sheik, knuckleball. Handled by Barry Redden right up in the wedge. And hammered down at about the 21 by the Giants special teams led by Elvis Patterson. Speaking of Christmas Day on CBS, you can see many of the nation's top college players take part in the blue-gray game. And the NBA on CBS returns with a matchup of Eastern Conference powers, the Philadelphia 76ers against the Detroit Pistons. Julius Erving and Isaiah Thomas are featured. That's Christmas Day with and on CBS Sports. Injured Ram is Barry Redden. He's the gentleman who's down right now.
Barry Redden was a #1 draft choice out of the University of Richmond. And when Eric Dickerson came here and John Robinson came and they only used the one back in the backfield, Barry Redden hasn't gotten an awful lot of playing time, but he's in his third year and he really is a good running back.
It's like it might be his left knee that got twisted.
I think so. We'll see right here at the end of the pile. You know, so many things happen once all these bodies start to collide. Once they all get to the same point around the same time. Let's see if we can see it. He's still dragging now, and it looks like his left foot gets caught in the ground, and then his leg is going to get pushed back on him, I think.
That's Barry Redden, number 30, who is limping off now. Jeff Kemp just trotted into the Ram huddle. Redden looks like he might be okay.
It's been a tough time here for Barry Redden. You know, you come out, you're the #1 draft choice, you're going to be the big running back, probably capable of it. And then in comes an Eric Dickerson, who's maybe one of the greatest of all time. And they only use one back, so what do? Play special teams and relieve him a little.
Takes a special adjustment. Here goes Dickerson over the left side. He gets out to about the 25. A pickup of 3, maybe 4. Carl Banks.
You know, the one thing we talked about earlier is that if the Giants can hold them with the 7, you see the 3 down linemen, then you have 4 linebackers there. They're able to hold them just with that 7-man front so far. But now you see what happened. The 8th guy, the defensive back, sneaked up there, and he was outside. So they've really done a good job of that inside, those 3 down linemen and 4 linebackers of containing Eric Dickerson.
Stopping that dangerous cutback move of his. Drew Hill with the man in motion. Here's Dickerson. Takes one tackler and then can't get away from Curtis McGriff, who takes him down from behind.
I don't know how Curtis McGriff sneaked in there, because that was that counter play, that gap play where Kent Hill and Irv Pankey pulled from the outside, and McGriff somehow just sneaked in under. You see, here comes the guard and tackle from the left. Now, how does McGriff get in underneath those guys? He started inside, worked back out, and he got Dickerson from behind.
He just made a very good play.
Watch him. He has to go in there on Bill Bain, the 330-pound guy, get off of him, and then grab a hold of Dickerson. That's a heck of a play against the run.
They stop Dickerson again as Kent goes back to throw. And goes deep for Drew Hill. Flag is down. A penalty flag goes down. Terry Kennard back there on defense. They're going to call it, I think, against the Giants.
They are. Did you see Terry Kennard? He was pulling his jersey and show him. He was saying that he held me. He was trying to get offensive pass interference. that's a lot of yardage. Watch it, it's double coverage. 43, Kennard is running right there. He gets his left arm around, then he gets his left arm up. That doggone it, I don't think that's pass interference. That guy has to be able to play. You got to let him play. He didn't do anything. He just covered him. Yeah, that's wrong. That's not interference.
A penalty of 45 yards. As you said, a lot more than a first down. The Rams go with Dickerson again. He is hit after a gain of maybe 2. Kenny Daniel made the contact. Bill Parcells really upset with the officiating and the call against Terry Kennard.
Well, he has a right to be upset on that one. No, he just put his arm in there. He was just defending. Parcells, he's down there sweating. Man, we're in the trenches now. We're getting here in the second half. We're getting a little excitement. See, he just has his left arm up there as he's running, and then he's going up there to catch the ball. I don't know that. And if that is, it shouldn't be.
I don't know that the ball was catchable even.
Well, the guys have to be able to do something on defense. You got to let them play.
Then gets it outside. McDonald will have the Rams first down at about the Giants' 17-yard line. Harry Williams knocked him out of bounds, a gain of 11.
Hey, we see this more and more. These quarterbacks, right now, they have to be tough guys. Watch, here comes Lawrence Taylor. He loops around, comes right in on Jeff Kemp, hits him with that right arm and hand and shoulder, and he looked like a little doll when he hit him, the way he flopped to the ground. They would just hit him with one arm. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
6 out of 9 is Kemp for 76 yards. First down, Rams at the Giants' 16. 13-3, the Giants lead it. Brown in motion. Kemp backpedals. Looking. Got no place to go, and he gets slung to the ground back at the line of scrimmage by Banks.
14-yard line.
13-3. 6:55 left to play third quarter.
Yeah, the one thing about the playoffs, we saw Coach Bill Parcells over there. He was yelling and sweating, and the intensity is picking up now. There's so much finality about this thing. I mean, we all know that the winner goes on. They're playing next week. And the loser, just everything ends so suddenly.
Sometimes you have to keep in mind that to be here, you have to have a good year. Here's Dickerson to the outside, and he's going to score. McDonald got the key block. 14-yard touchdown run for Eric Dickerson.
To that side today. Look what they found.
Lansford with Dills holding, trying to make it 13-10. And good. 78 yards in 6 plays. They kept the ball 3 minutes, 25 secondary.
Hey, the big block on that touchdown was from number 83. Watch him here. James McDonald didn't play college football. He was a basketball player at SC. Watch that block in the corner. He gets the corner man, and then Dickerson gets a step through. There's no one going to catch him to that flag.
Eric Dickerson from 14 yards out. And the Rams move closer, 13-10.
Saw the block on James McDonald, the block that he got, but watch the block that guard Dennis Harris gets. He and Bill Bain are going to pull. Now, that's a real load coming around this side, but Harris right here is going to get Lawrence Taylor right here. Now, watch this block as they come around. Here you get the 2 big guys. Here's about 600 pounds pulling to the left. 600 pounds turning up. See right there. See, Harris got Lawrence Taylor, the guy who makes most of the tackles. James McDonald got the corner, and Dickerson took it in.
And it's 13-10. The Giants over the Rams with 6:25 left to play third quarter. down as Hill, with a good return, gets out to about the 42 before Ed Brady knocks him out of bounds. But a penalty marker, a flag back at the 30.
Are you sure it's going to be against the Giants? It's going to be one of those holding or blocking from behind above the waist. You see that so often on the kickoff returns. It seems like just about all kick returns there's some type of flag.
On the receiving team.
Once again on the Ram defense, Doug Reed has taken the place of Jack Youngblood. Jack just not quite able to go.
He's gone for 14 years as well as anyone. Better than most.
From the 20, the Giants put Joe Morris in motion. And they send Sims back to throw, and he gets it out quickly to ZEKE MOWATT. Johnny Johnson takes a ride on the back of MOWATT. Jim Collins finally gets there, and they get him down, but he got a Giant first down. Jack Youngblood.
ZEKE MOWATT on that play reminded me a lot of Dave Casper. When he used to catch the ball in the open field, he just loved that. He loved to just get his shoulder square, turn up, find a defensive back, hoping he'd jump on him, and see how then he would measure how far he gave the guy a ride. He had records for stuff like that.
Morris, motion again. Sims back to throw again. Has time again. To Carpenter. He gets about 3 before Mike Wilshire cuts him down. Gary Jeter checks in for the Rams. That'll mean a 4-man front for them, as they think the Giants are going to have to throw. Ex-Giant Gary Jeter.
Gary Jeter plays inside and out. He'll play some at left defensive end. When he comes in as a 4-man line, he usually plays a tackle position, but they switch him around up and down the line of scrimmage. I think on this play, he's a right defensive end.
He is. He replaces Reggie Doss. The ex-Giant Gary Jeter. Jackson was the man in motion. The handoff is to Morris. Hit in the backfield and now smothered finally by Jeter. Hit first by DeJournay.
That's a guy who's made a lot of big plays today for this Ram defense is Charles DeJournay. He doesn't even start at nose tackle. He's an alternate in there, but that's about the 3rd or 4th time. Watch him over the center. He starts over Belcher, makes a move to the outside, and he gets Joe Morris before he can get to that corner, and then, of course, the whole defense collapses on him. But DeJournay, the nose tackle, is the guy that made that happen.
3rd down and long, 12 to be exact, as the Giants move into the spread. Sims is at his own 24-yard line. In the pocket is Sims. He has a man open. It's Lionel Manuel, and he'll move into Ram territory. First down. Johnny Johnson was the nearest defender. Good throw by Sims.
I'll tell you, I think they have to get the ball more and more to Lionel Manuel. To me, he's the most exciting player on this Giant team because he has the speed and he has the quickness, and that's the type of guy you want to handle the ball. See that? He comes in. He was going to go inside. He read something in the defense, worked back out, but this little guy can do it all. He can run fast. He has good quickness, good hands. He's an exciting player. He's a game breaker. I think you have to get the ball in his hands as much as you can.
To Sims' credit, he figured out where he was going and got it to him. Morris breaks to about the 41 and picks up about 5 yards before Jim Collins stopped him. Giant lead is 3 points. Clock running with 3:40 left, 3rd quarter.
It's a good cutback by Joe Morris. I bet you Kevin Belcher did a good job of blocking on the nose tackle that time because the play started off over the right tackle. Morris cut it back over the center.
2nd and 6 at the Ram 40. Dolphus goes in motion. Sims back to throw. Done a good job picking up those blitzes. He has Ernest Gray and overthrows him. Gary Green and Johnny Johnson, the defenders. The Rams are pretty much a 100% zone pass defense team.
You know, I think with those type of defensive at-bats they've had and all the injuries they've had that they've had to go to that thing. It looks like had Sims taken a little off of that, Ernest Gray did beat that coverage. It looked like he split it and was behind it.
Sims is 16 out of 24 for 126 yards, and he's hit 10 out of his last 12. 136, make it. 3rd and 6. Sims has Lionel Manuel, who stays on his feet, still on his feet, to the Ram 20. Sims took a tough shot. Sims really took a wallop. There's a Giant player down. 20-yard pickup.
Bill Sims is going off the field. Hey, he really took a shot after he threw that ball, and it looks like it's his left arm or shoulder. He's saying he's all right now. Watch it. He's looking for Lionel Manuel on the right side. He finds it. He takes a jolt right there just as he throws the ball. I don't think he realized that he was hurt yet until he got up, and he told the referee right behind him he took a timeout. He's looking all the way. He really takes a shot by number 71, Reggie Dawson was.
And the Giant who's down is the right tackle, Carl Nelson, I believe. And he's still down. 13-10 Giants over the Rams. Carl Nelson, who was on the bottom of that pile after Sims got hit, took a blow to the ribs. His replacement is Conrad Goody, number 62. And he'll be facing Doug Reed. First down Giants. Ram 20. Byron Williams split one of the receivers to give this to Morris. He's hit by DeJournay back at the line of scrimmage again.
If the Giants are going to get some running going, the one thing they have to do is start getting DeJournay blocked. He's the guy that's really caused them problems. Watch him in here. He's over the center, starts to the left, just follows Brad Benson, number 6. He just follows him and says, look, here's Joe Morris. I'll take him. I don't want that guard anyway.
Nobody blocked him.
Nope. He ran around the center to the right and followed the left guard pulling.
A lot of guys around who'll be problems if you don't block them.
That could be a problem.
Sims swings it outside to Carpenter, who dances down to the 15 before Collins arrives. 1:48 left, third quarter. Giants 13, Rams 10.
They go Rob Carpenter took a little extra dance there, and he's thinking all he did was let some more Rams arrive on the scene. Had he made one cut, taken it up the field, there wouldn't have been as many blue jerseys.
Clock still running with 1:25 now left to play third quarter as Bobby Johnson checks in with the play and tells Phil Sims. From the Ram 14. They're going to have to hurry. They do get the play off. Sims in the grasp of Jim Collins. Mix-up. Sims either missed the handoff or he is going to roll out.
I don't know if that was a mixed play or whether it was going to be a bootleg, because Jim Collins was on a blitz. And we'll see him. He's going to come right up the middle. As see the guard pulls. Sims was faking. I think he wanted to bootleg, but Collins was coming on a blitz. The guard pulled the other way, and there was no one to block him. And he got a handful of jersey, pulled it right over that shoulder pad, and here comes the Sheik.
Well, the Sheik has been good twice already, from 37 and 39. This one's from 36, and he's good again. 3 for 3 is Ali Haji Sheik, and the Giant lead now is 16-10 over the Rams, and we have 40 seconds left to play in the third 17. Frank Cephas and Elvis Patterson really put a shellac on Barry Redden.
There's a lot of white jerseys that converge on this play. Watch, there's Patterson right there. McLaughlin is there. About 3 guys. Wow.
Bill Sims was shaken in the series before. So was Carl Nelson, and they're putting a flak jacket on the offensive right tackle. But he should be back. At least that's our information. Eric Dickerson again is the lone setback as the Rams take over at their own 17. Kemp goes back to throw. It's tight end Mike Barber. Outside the 20, about the 22, about a 5-yard gain. Lawrence Taylor on the stop.
Drop at the 23-yard line by Reason and Taylor.
12 seconds now, 10 left to play in the third quarter. And the Giants lead by 6. Phil Sims on the telephone on the other side. Hoping, say, Mom, I won't be home for Christmas. They're going to stay out here if they do. Time of possession, third quarter. The Giants had it 10:55. The Rams 4:05. That's the end of the third quarter now with the score. The Giants 16, the Rams 10, and we now pause for a word from your local station. One more quarter to go of this wild card game. Pat Summerall and John Madden at Anaheim Stadium, where the Giants lead it 16-10. Rams have the ball at their own 23-yard line. 2nd and 5.
You know, the Giants only got 3 points out of that drive. They kept the ball out of the Rams' hand. They can't wear him down. They kept it out of Eric Dickerson's hand.
Now it's in his hand. Dickerson hammers over the right side. Only got a couple. It'll be third and about 3 or 4. Curtis McGriff, who's had a good game, made the tackle.
You know, I'm surprised that they keep running that play to the right. I'm surprised that they haven't come back more to the left with it. And they've only run it 1 time to the left, and they got big yardage over here, and they keep running it to the right at Curtis McGriff, who I think is the Giants' best defensive lineman against the run.
As Bill Parcells said to us yesterday afternoon, McGriff and Bain, that's going to be a battle, and it has been.
Battle of the Bulls.
Kemp back to throw. As a first down to Barber. Barber handles his way out to the 41-yard line. Terry Kennard on the stop. A gain of 16.
Watch Mike Barber here. He's going to come on a crossing pattern. Pretty good pass protection here. You see Kemp is able to look out to the right, find Barber as a second receiver. Barber catches the ball, turns it up, says, there's a defensive back. Let me give him a whap with his right shoulder. The only thing is, it was Terry Kennard who can whap pretty good himself.
Jeff Kemp is 8 out of 11 for 99 yards. He gives fakes to Dickerson. Now he's being chased by Burt. Now again by Marshall. He throws in the direction of Dickerson, incomplete, and now here comes the penalty flag down. Eric Carson, the defender, and they'll call it against Carson. And I don't think there's much doubt about that one.
That is not. It has to be interference because the ball was in the air. When the quarterback starts to run, he loses his protection, and then the guys downfield can bump the receiver, but not when the ball's in the air.
Carson hooked him with his arm. Trying to make the adjustment was Dickerson.
Well, when you're in the open field,
Pass interference 53. That's a first down.
you're in the open field with Eric Dickerson, and there's no one else there with you, you're going to do that type of thing. Look, there's Harry Carson. There's just the 2 of them there. Harry says, I'll get it any way I can. He not only hooked him, he spun him, took him to the ground. Can't argue about that one.
And then fell on him. First down Rams at the Giant 48. Dickerson. Reverse coming. They got some room, but there's a penalty flag already down. Henry Ellard wound up with the ball. There's a flag down again. 2 penalty markers down.
Flags all over the place.
There were 2 penalty markers on the field.
I think Bill Bain pulled early for the first flag, and there must have been some sort of personal foul for the second one involving Doug Smith.
I think you're right. I think the first one was illegal motion on the Rams. And the second one was later and down here. here's a little group down here. See, they're keeping track of the ball.
On the offense. Also illegal hands on the offense. 2 penalties on the same team.
That's serious.
That is, and it's more serious. It's the same guy.
Penalize the illegal hands. 10 yards.
It couldn't have been the same guy. I think Bain moved early, the first thing, and then I think the other one was downfield on a block later. Let's see if we can see it here. The first one, it looked like Bain fired out a little early. Then the guy that looks like he has a hold there is David Hill, number 81. He had a hold of Carl Banks' shirt. And I think they still had yet another penalty on that play.
That's the one they called against Doug Smith. Pitch back to Dickerson. Here it is. And look out now. Dickerson almost was gone. Terry Kennard got him just before he broke everything.
So you talk about big plays in a game. Terry Kennard has to have the biggest so far. Watch it. Here they're going to the right. He starts in. He just jumps over McGriff. He has the tackle there by reasons. He goes outside of that. Makes one miss here. Kennard just barely got those ankles right at the end. Watch the block here by James McDonald, 83. He gets a good one to let Dickerson break it to the outside. Now, once he gets to the outside, as John Robinson says, when he straightens up, he's gone. He started to straighten, and Kennard caught him.
If Kennard doesn't catch him, it's good night nurse. The fake is to Dickerson. Kemp got to get something done quickly. He gets it to McDonald. McDonald slips down shy of a first down. Carl Banks was out there facing him. Dickerson, 18 carries for 83 yards now.
James McDonald has had some big plays blocking. He just caught a pass here. It was interesting. He was a basketball player at USC when John Robinson was the head football coach. Robinson at USC tried to talk McDonald into coming out and playing football. He wouldn't do it for him. Finally, he got here with the Rams, and he got him to play for the Rams. That's an easy way to, don't play college. I want to save it for pros.
It helps with durability. They say he has a chance to be a great one. Here is a great one. Dickerson by Kennard, but it's a Ram first down inside the 20. David Hill, a good block up in front. They do wear you down, don't they?
That's what they try and do. David Hill, this time, number 81, he's the wingback. Watch him. He's the outside guy. He works out. He's going to get the support guy. See it right there. He just turns Kenny Daniel out. What a lane that gives for Eric Dickerson to run in until Terry Kennard gets there.
David Hill, Jim Hill's brother, who is the CBS sports anchorman here in Los Angeles. And, of course, David had a great many good years in Detroit before he came here. Timeout.
David Hill, he's a tight end. Most tight ends are around 225, 230, 235. David Hill weighs over 250 pounds.
Bill Parcells with cause for the concern at the moment. Wild card game at Anaheim Stadium, where the Rams are on the move with a 1st and 10 at the Giant 19. Dickerson to the left, to the corner, to the 11. Lawrence Taylor on the stop.
The other guy that was on the stop is Terry Kennard. If the Giants didn't have Kennard on this series, the Rams could have scored at least 2 touchdowns. What's the job that they do here on Taylor? Mike Barber, 86, keeps him out there. Now once you cut back, there's Kennard. He makes the tackle there again. I'll tell you, he's been all over the field, that Kennard has. We can look here at Lawrence Taylor, but Kennard's the guy that's been making the tackles on this drive.
Again, they went in the direction of David Hill, who's on the right side this time. 2nd and 2. And they go right. And Dickerson gets the first down inside the 10, where it'll be 1st and goal. Banks tripped him up, and Dickerson's over 100 yards.
See that? He was following Herb Banky and Kent Hill on that play. When I asked him yesterday, I said, who do you key? What do you look at? Who do you follow? He said, I don't know. And I think most great running backs are that way. They don't know what they do. All their runs are just instinct.
Injured Giant player. Dickerson now 21 carries, 103 yards. The Rams' total is 106, so Dickerson has all but 3. Courier, number 29, was the injured Giant. Now he heads off the field, seemingly okay.
There he is right there, 29. It looked like he just got Dickerson's knee either on his shoulder or in the head. As he walked off, he said, it's my head.
First and goal from the 7. 9.5 minutes left to play. The Rams trying to take the lead. Giants do lead by 16 to 10. Wayne Crutchfield in the backfield in front of Dickerson. Pitches back there. He hammers to about the 3. Carl Banks on the stop from the other side of the field.
I guarantee you, Dwayne Crutchfield, number 45, is a short yardage guy, but no John Robinson from now on, every play that they call is just going to be a call that's not going to go to Crutchfield, it's going to go to Dickerson. They'll give him the ball every time the rest of the game until you win it.
Remember the last week when they lost to the 49ers. They didn't have Dickerson in that last series, and they went to Crutchfield.
They didn't have Redden, and they went to Crutchfield, and they didn't get it. They had to kick a field goal, and they lost to the 49ers.
Dickerson is deep. They'll operate from the 4. The handoff is to Crutchfield, and he is smothered by Leonard Marshall. He should have listened.
No, he didn't listen. Why do that? I mean, I'm sure that Crutchfield's a good player, a good guy. We have Eric Dickerson. The guy's all-world. He's broken every record in Russia. All you have to do is flip him the ball and let him go. I mean, I don't know why I don't understand this. I really don't. I mean, John Robinson's a good friend of mine. Crutchfield's good, but doggone. What, you dance with a girl you brought, you give it to the guy who's the best.
The one who got you there. We said in the opening, the winged feet of number 29. Jeff Kemp gonna throw. Gets it out to Henry Ellard, but he is stopped at about the 5-yard line. They're gonna have to go field goal. Here comes Lansford. This is what cost them the game against San Francisco. They got down there and they couldn't get in. This is one of the things that Robinson said they had to be able to do.
That's right. And against San Francisco, they didn't have Eric Dickerson. Remember, he had gotten kicked in the foot, and so they couldn't use him. This time they had Eric Dickerson, and they didn't use him. I'm surprised if a guy is going to break records, and you know, of all time, doggone, when you get down there close, he has to get the ball.
This will be from 22 yards out. Lansford has hit from 38 already. Hills holding. Lansford is good again, and it's 16-13. A field goal battle between Ali Haji Sheikh and Mike Lansford. 16-13 Giants over the Rams. Far in front of us. That's a horizontal bar, I mean.
So you have to just put your head down and put it on a swivel.
Right. Kenny Hill. The return for the Rams. Number 46 down to make the tackle. John Kamana. 16-13. 6:53 left in the football game. Scoring drive took the Rams a long time to get there. 8:38. Lansford hit the field goal, and the Rams are down by 3. The Giants trying to hold on to the ball and trying to get into the playoffs. Sims has had a good day, 18 out of 26, a lot of short passes. The Giants will stay here in Fresno all week if they win before they play the 49ers next week. They're up by 3. Sims is not going to sit on it. He gets it out to Bill Morris. Morris is cut down after a gain of about 3 by Jim Collins.
You know, the way this game has been going, Pat, and the field goals, you said the Ali Haji Sheikh and the Lansford field goals, this looks like to me like an overtime game. I think we're set for overtime here.
Well,
just a thought, you know, as we're sitting here watching this.
It makes sense.
Because they get down there and they can't take it in for first down. You know it's going to be a field goal.
First and goal at the 7. They couldn't get in. 2nd and 8 right now for the Giants. 6:15 left to play. Giants up 16-13. Sends again back to throw. Has time. Gets it outside to Rob Carpenter. Carpenter was shut down short of the first down by about 1.5 yards, it appears. Carl Eckern was the first man to hit him. Youngblood back in the game, number 85.
You can just see with that sciatic thing that he can't push off. He's going, you know, with that injury. Carl Nelson was going with his injury. He has the ribs. Youngblood has the sciatic. Dennis Hara, he's getting a tape job on the outside of the foot again.
3rd down and about 1.5 yards. Big down. Carpenter is the lone setback, and Galbraith goes in motion. Sends back to throw. Gets it out to Carpenter, and Rob Carpenter lunges for the first down in the grasp of Collins. And Leroy Irvin. First down Giants, and a big one. 5:07 left to play.
Yeah, that's one thing. Rob Carpenter doesn't have great speed, but he has those little moves where he just moves the head and shoulders enough. He's good with that quickness in line, and once you get the ball out to him in the open field, he has that same little wiggle that can pick up a first down for you.
Very important time to watch the clock now. Sims has hit 15 out of his last 17. 4:40 left to play. The Giants at their own 36. They lead by 3. Sims to Morris. Morris out of the pack, and he could be gone. There's a penalty marker down. Morris is dragged out of bounds at about the 3-yard line by Vince Newsom, but there's a flag on the play. A flag on the play. It's against the Giants. A gain of 61 yards by Joe Morris. Washed out.
That was an inside play. The guy that they caught for holding is number 73, the center, Kevin Belcher. And that's right where Joe Morris ran. Now you talk about big plays. This is the biggest one, and it's by the officials. Watch Belcher. Looks good to me so far. Now you can't see. Could have held the right hand back there of Greg Meisner. But I tell you, it's still a heck of a run by Joe Morris. Let's see if you can see it. The left side of the picture. You see his right hand there? He has it on Meisner's right arm. I don't know.
1st and 20, back at the 26 now as Sims goes to ZEKE MOWATT. Pick up about 6. Carl Eckern on the stop, and the clock is still going. Winding down at 4:15. MOWATT has 7 catches for 73 yards.
ZEKE MOWATT didn't make the Pro Bowl this year, but I bet he'll give it a good run next year. He gave it a good run this year. He was 4th in the voting. And I wouldn't be surprised if next year if he's not in the Pro Bowl.
2nd down and 14. Giants operating at their own 32. Bill Sims dealing with a hot hand right now. They send Galbraith in motion. That usually means they'll throw again, and he will. And he has some time. Sims looking. Now he doesn't have any time. And down he goes. Mike Wilcher up to knock him down. The 4th time Sims has been down.
I'll tell you, Jack Youngblood just can't run. It's lucky that Wilcher was coming there. Youngblood was trying to chase him. He just couldn't get over there. And Wilcher makes a heck of a move here at the end. But watch 85, Youngblood. He just can't push off of his leg. Now as he starts to run, there's no way that he's going to get out there. But here comes number 54, Wilcher. He was in coverage. He saw Sims, and he comes running up the field.
That'll bring up a big 3rd down with the clock still running at 3:15 left to play. One thing Sims did do with that scramble was use up some of the clock. 3rd down and 16. And to a four-man front. Trying to put some heat on Sims. Can't do it. Over the head and over the hands of Ernest Gray, and they'll have to punt. You might be right. I smell some overtime, too.
They do, and it's all on that holding penalty of Belcher, the holding call. I'll tell you, the Giants did what they had to. They got a big run out of there. It was called back, and then they couldn't overcome that penalty. And now the Rams get a shot here.
Henry Ellard is back deep, and Dave Jennings is also back deep to punt for the Giants.
That doesn't count. I think they blew the whistle before the ball was snapped, Pat.
I think they might have run out the 30-second clock.
Right, because the official who was deep started to run up before the ball was snapped.
It's against the Giants. They used too much time. Henry Ellard made no move. And maybe now they're saying they never started the 30-second clock.
Well, I know it was the official who was down there deep with Ellard. He started to run up, waving his arms before the ball was snapped. So he caught something. He caught something going on.
That must be what happened. They never started the clock because there is no penalty.
Well, Ben
clock operator didn't start for 30 seconds. We're going to kick over, and we're going to put 3 seconds back on the clock.
They're going to put 3 seconds back on the clock, they say. On the game clock. Take them a second to do that.
Everyone gets into these games, and you got guys to blame. You know, the officials, they stop the clock. It's a 30-second clock operator now.
Well, it's the playoffs.
There it is.
16-13 the score. Giants over the Rams. Henry Ellard back deep. Jennings, clutch situation, gets off a good kick. Ellard's going to try to get around the corner. Can't do it. The Giants swing him down at the 25. Frank Cephas is the man who does it. A 47-yard good punt by Jennings. 3-yard return by Ellard. It's 16-13 Giants.
That hold on Kevin Belcher against Meisner one more time. Here's Meisner right here. This is where it happened. Now, this is a big run of Joe Morris, the 70-yard run. You see Meisner trying to, number 69, trying to come off the block, and you see Belcher's right arm on his jersey. It's kind of tough because you can put your hand on him, you can push him. You just can't grab or hold him. That was tight. That was very tight.
Keep in mind that though the Rams have the ball, they only have 2 timeouts remaining. They have, of course, the 2-minute warning. They have 2 minutes and 48 seconds left to get something done and to get Lansford in range. Fake to Dickerson. Out to Brown. Brown dancing out of bounds at about the 30 for a gain of about 5. Elvis Kenny Daniel. Elvis Patterson also on the play. Kenny Daniel knocked him out of bounds. Brown, the sprinter, out of bounds, stops the clock with 2:42. Gain of 4, make it 2nd and 6.
You know, the Rams now, they have to be thinking field goal, so they don't have to think of going 70 yards, but they have to think of going 40 yards. 40 yards will put them in field goal range.
They also have to be thinking first down somewhere along the line. Back to Dickerson. Outside the 30, about the 31, Harry Parsons and Gary Reasons converge to stop him, and they face a 3rd down situation right here.
Well, they better hurry up and huddle. They're not going to take a timeout. I'm surprised they didn't have 2 plays called, because they're taking an awful lot of time to get out of that play in the huddle and back to the line of scrimmage.
3rd and 6. Maybe a little bit shy of 6, but still it's considerable yardage. Kemp back to throw. Trying to find somebody. David Hill had it. And let it get away. He's got a punt now, do you not?
This is a tough thing. I don't think he will. The guy who made the biggest play on that was the left defensive end. It was George Martin. They tried to get Dickerson out, and George Martin started his rush and came off on him.
And the Rams have taken a timeout with 2 minutes and 2 seconds left on the clock. Jeff Kemp comes over to the sideline to talk to John Robinson.
Watch him here now. Jeff Kemp is going to try and throw the ball out to his right to Dickerson. You see him right here. He's trying to come off here, right there. George Martin came off with him. He didn't let Dickerson get out there. Now he had to come back to Hill. He threw the ball a little behind David Hill, and he couldn't handle it. This is a very tough call. You know, you only have one timeout left, plus the 2-minute warning. Do you punt? But if you punt, you can't use your timeouts because you don't have your timeouts. So I think that they darn near do have to go for it right here on 4th down as they're doing.
I think they do, especially since they're down to 1 timeout.
You see, if they had their timeouts, they'd be able to do it. They'd be able to punt, then use their timeouts to get the ball back. But here now, the whole season for the Rams is boiling down to this one play.
That's a situation, I think, that when you say exactly what you say is true, that this whole season for the Rams boils down to this one play. In many ways, it seems unfair because they have had a good year, both teams. It could be over on one play. They're going for it. They have to. After this, they'll have the 2-minute warning. Taylor showing blitz and coming. And Kemp is hit from behind. The ball comes loose, and the Giants will get it. And it appears that the Giants will be going to San Francisco and staying in California for Christmas. It was ruled a fumble, and the Giants come up with it. This is Bill Payne rolling on the ground and hurt.
The Giants sure got the pass rush, so when they needed it, both ends he's going to get it from his right side and his left side as the thing starts to collapse on him about right now. Here they come. One Taylor from the backside, Martin from the backside, and someone right up the front hit him. He had 3-on-1 there.
Andy Hedden was the third man as Bill Parcells has reason to smile. The Giants take over at the Ram 34. Bill Bain limping off the field. The Giants leading 16-13.
Here's the big 4th down pass rush. Lawrence Taylor coming from the outside here in the right, the bottom of the screen. George Martin, 75, up there in the top. We get the big push in there. Now watch, Taylor gets free off of Pankey. He's coming from behind. Here's Martin coming from the other side, and Hedden is in there also.
It was ruled a fumble, and the Giant bench is a place that you'd go right now if you wanted to celebrate. A minute 58 left to play, and over there, things are not quite so happy. First down, Giants, the Ram 33. Carpenter, Farrell's left side, moving his feet down to about the 25. Stopped finally by Vince Newsom. The Rams' fire is just about out. Or it's Taylor over on the sideline, happy about what's going on. Rams call their last timeout. And now it's just a waiting game. Next, the NFL Today, the post-game show. A look ahead to divisional games next week. We'll have some live interviews. Herb Cross, of course, is here with players from this game. And then a feature on a look at coaching changes around the NFL. Right now it's 16-13. The Giants over the Rams. The Rams out of timeouts. A minute 49 left on the clock, but there's no way that the Rams can stop it. All they can hope for now is a fumble. Harry Carson looking on. 2nd and 2. Carpenter hit in the backfield. Short of the first down. Greg Meisner hit him. They might get the ball back for maybe one play, perhaps two.
Well, I'm sure that the Giants would go for it on 4th down anyway, so they have 2 yards to go, but they really have 2 downs to do it in. The Rams can't stop the clock. 1 minute, 23 seconds to go. If they don't get the first down, the Rams could get another shot at it, because if they stop them on 4th down, that's automatic timeout, change of possession.
So this indeed is a big play again. 3rd down and 3. They give it to Carpenter. Flag is down. Flag is down. I think the Rams were offside, and that would be enough for the first down, and that would do it. Reggie Doss on the stop. It might have been Meisner who jumped.
Either Meisner, an inside linebacker, coming on a blitz trying to get a jump, but it will be against the Rams. Then it'll be a first down. Then it's all over. Been a bad weekend for Los Angeles pro football. The Raiders losing yesterday.
69, offside.
It was Meisner. And now there is an authentic reason to celebrate.
See it right there in the middle of the screen. Meisner, of course, lined up over the center. Belcher, he just got a little jump on it, hit that gap on the right before the ball was snapped. There's Bill Parcells. The man on his right and with the red hat is Bill Parcells' high school coach, his high school basketball coach.
Sims just deals, and the Giants can get it done. Pete Shaw, John Robinson. A day of sorrow for the Rams. Jack Youngblood, possibly the last game for him, depending upon how his back heals. And a sad day for all in Los Angeles. 67,000 in attendance today. Largest in Anaheim Stadium history here for this playoff game. It was not a sellout in time to lift the blackout, as Sims just kneels on it now, and the clock shows 10 seconds left to play. The Giants will spend Christmas Day up in Fresno and get ready to play the 49ers up at Candlestick next week, where John Madden and I will be. Parcells and Robinson. 16-13 Giant victory. It means the Bears go to Washington. Next Saturday, the NFL Today will begin it all. The NFC divisional playoff between the New York Giants and the 49ers, live at 3:30 Eastern Time. That's where Coach Madden and I will be. And on Sunday, again, the NFL Today, and then the Redskins and the Bears, the winners of the NFC Central and the NFC East.